Testing the volume. Hello, hello. Testing the volume. Hello, hello. Okay, it's good. It sounds good. So today I decided to do a art review of Jeff Easley. Who is Jeff Easley? He is an artist, fantasy artist. He's really old now. But he was one of the main artists that I fell in love with his artwork, that is, in the 80s when I began playing Dungeons and Dragons with my high school buddies. They had these cool looking manuals like the Monster Manual and Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and they had these cool illustrations on there. And little did I know that was Jeff Easley's illustrations. I come to find out later on as I get older. But I wanted to focus on this artist. I think he's still with us because, in my opinion, he is TSR. He is Dungeons and Dragons. His art style is fantasy at its core. And when you look at it, you say, that is fantasy art. The essence of Dungeons and Dragons fantasy art is there. Now, what do I mean by that? Because there are a lot of other artists. For example, Frazetta and Keith Parkinson. But Frazetta and Parkinson, they use photographs to do their artwork. Frazetta photographed himself and his wife for a lot of his material. And Parkinson used models. Now, Jeff Easley, as we see this illustration here, he even talks about he never used photographic material to make his paintings. Now, did he use references for some things, like maybe horses, maybe castles or buildings? Yeah, he used references. But what I'm trying to say here is that he did not photograph, for example, this ghoul here, specter, these zombies. He didn't have somebody pose in that direction, or somebody pose here, or somebody pose with the arms open. He created this from his mind. Why? Because he has an imagination. And he, as an artist, seasoned artist, and he was a really good artist, whatever you see in your mind, you can pretty much draw on paper. And if you can draw on paper, then you can paint on canvas. And so I don't know what he was thinking when he painted this, obviously, but I can imagine. I don't know what directions he got from TSR to make this painting, but maybe they told him to make a... I don't know what this painting is for, but it's really cool. Yo, how you doing, Michael Walters? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, this is not my artwork. Just so you know, I'm just doing a review of Jeff Easley's artwork because he's one of my favorite fantasy artists of all time. I like this artwork more than Frazetta's artwork and many other artists. But like I was saying, he doesn't use references for this artwork. And you could tell by looking at the artwork, he makes it up. It's just fantasy, made up from his mind. Hey, Dr. Physics, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I'm like, Michael Walters, I've never seen you here before. That's funny. Hope you had a good bike ride. So I'm just reviewing this artist. And because I haven't reviewed him at all. And this ghoul back here. And he has this black area here. And the reason that was put there so we can see this character coming out from below him. It could be that this ghoul is summoning these undead creatures from the graveyard. But that's not even the point of my critique here. if you look at all this design work here, with the little wispy smoke and the clouds in the background, and then the way he placed them in the middle very nicely, and also the muted colors. I'm sure this has a mood to it, which is dark, and this is basically like a sepia color that he put on the canvas, and he brought these images to life from the background. But the beauty of it is that he didn't use any photographic reference. He painted this from his mind, which I think gives it that fantasy look. Because once you start using references, photographic references of humans, then you start to lose that fantasy aspect of fantasy art. Because maybe the average person cannot pick that up, but other artists can. We can pick up where we can, like, if you look at wrinkles in clothing, these wrinkles, he made them up. You put little whatever details there, and then he makes up his own wrinkles here. I mean, if you know about clothing, you know the anatomy of clothing, and it looks like flesh falling off the bones, but doesn't make it look like fantasy because he didn't use a photograph. This guy coming out of the dirt, you see his rib cage here, and his elbow up, just to show motion. That he's coming out of the ground is beautiful. This guy's pretty much out of the ground completely, and I think this guy's summoning him out of there. But overall, this is a gorgeous, beautiful illustration of Jeff Easley. Now I'm going to look at another one. I think he signed it back here. Yeah, he signed it right here, Easley, right there. Now we have this beautiful, whimsical, almost abstract painting of this wizard and this dragon. Now there's a lot of design going on in this painting. A lot of colors, but it works. I believe this is from, I'm not sure if it's Dungeon Master's Guide. It's one of his books. Or it could be a Dungeon Master's Screen. I've seen this image quite a few times. But anytime you have to paint a dragon with a human figure in there and sort of a close-up view of this human, you're not going to get a full dragon because the dragon is just so huge. So we only see a partial dragon. How do we know it's a dragon? Well, it looks like the head of a dragon, and then it's got the spikes on the neck. And we have a hint of a wing here. It's almost like this wizard conjured up this dragon from another world with some sort of spell.